going on, everybody? Eric Barassa here, and today I want to talk about this used Squier Strat that I just picked up the other day from my local music go-round. I am a sucker for the Tom DeLonge style of Strat, but we're going to do some tone tests on it and just see what it sounds like. Clean, a little bit of distortion, and a lot of distortion. Yeah, let's dive in and see what we think. And then I decided to grab my Mexican Strat, which the strings are dead on, but, you know, I just wanted to kind of A-B them. So one advantage this guitar has is it came with brand new strings, and I think these are 11s. So it already had really heavy gauge strings on there, which is kind of unusual. So I have this tuned down a half step to make it a little bit easier to play. And I might, it's either going to stay a half step tuned down or a whole step tuned down. But for this recording, everything is tuned down a half step. So when you see the comparisons with my Made in Mexico Strat that I've had for 2 decades, you're going to notice a change in pitch, even though I'm playing the same riffs. So I apologize for that. Okay, one other thing to note is that this guitar is being played through my Friedman Runt 20, which doesn't have a lot of headroom. So even when I'm playing on the clean channel, you're going to hear a little bit of breakup. When I see a guitar that looks like this, with the one humbucker, the one tone knob, and the perloid pickguard, especially with the oversized headstock. I don't have any guitars with an oversized headstock. I'm always going to check it out. Now, what inspired this purchase was I was looking for a guitar with heavier strings that I could detune. I've got plenty of guitars, but I like to have nines on all of them and just keep them in standard tuning. But I thought, you know what? I would like an inexpensive guitar that I can put heavy strings on and detune it. Squiers are really hit or miss, especially brand new. I don't like brand new Squiers, not because I think they make them worse than they used to or anything, but they don't have that broken in feel to them. They still feel really scratchy along the frets and everything. So I picked up this guitar, and of course, you know, the body is lighter than a Mexican-made Strat or an American-made Strat. It doesn't have that weight to it, but it's not as light as some Squiers that I've played. Looks like this one's from 2013, made in Indonesia, and I immediately noticed it has a Seymour Duncan pickup in it. So somebody has upgraded this, right? And they put in this nice knob and the perloid pickguard. They did all the things I would have done to a Strat that I would have purchased. I noticed that the neck feels pretty good. I think either this is just a luck of the draw, a nice Squier Strat that came out well, or somebody sanded down the frets, you know, where they would normally be sticking out on cheap guitars and like ow ow ow, it hurts to slide up and down. This feels really smooth, and the wood feels really good, like it's like it's been broken in and it's had some years to set. This guitar is like, what did I say? It's 2013. It's 8 years old. Yeah, this one's from 2013. So it feels really good. Now, it's not quite like my 90s made in Mexico Strat or my Eric Clapton Stratocaster or my other American Strat. But I tell you what, they had this guitar for $129, and I was like, okay, it feels good. Let's plug it in, see how it sounds. I noticed the tone was beefy and round. It didn't have those sharp edges like you have with a lot of cheap guitar pickups and cheap guitars. Like even my my import model Joe Satriani that I have, it was immediately apparent. Even though I could tell the tone of the guitar itself was good, I knew the pickups needed to be upgraded because it had that scratchy sound to it. Which is kind of hard to describe other than it sounds scratchy, and it doesn't have quite the fullness that you need. This guitar felt really full. All right, guys, well, that's it. Let me know what you think. I have some thoughts, and I'm curious to see what you guys think about the tonal differences. First of all, just what do you think of the sound of this guitar overall? And then also, what do you think of it compared to my Made in Mexico Strat, which I think is the best sounding riff machine that I've ever heard of any of my guitars that I've ever owned, of anyone's guitars that I've played on. My Made in Mexico Strat from the 90s with that Invader pickup and the upgraded electronics inside sounds incredible. So how do you think this $129 guitar sounds stacked up next to that one? So overall, I got to say, I am pleased. Could make a great backup guitar on the road. So you guys, be sure and like and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as my great Aunt Dahlia always says, so what's the big deal about Son of Kal-El, huh?